back there.
You can just
Hey, I
touch
feel
it.
it.
I'll hold
Does
it.
it? You can feel the spines
Brian,
moving,
let me
right?
feel.
Yeah. And
He's
then
like,
I'll hold it. You guys can touch
why
it.
don't you all try to touch it on top if you want to?
Yeah, touch
You know, you don't have to.
you don't have to, come on.
Very gently.
Very gentle, come on, there you go, there you go.
I felt it.
You can feel
Look like this, just like this. Very gentle, just like this.
Serious, I did.
No, for sure. You can.
Oh my gosh, it's moving.
And
Ah!
this one's
Watch it.
The spikes are actually moving, just to let you know. So,
It was moving, right?
yeah,
I told you it was moving, man.
it's nothing.
So for those of you that are a little more nervous about holding it, what do you think this animal is going to do to you?
Nothing. Maybe move its spikes around.
We are a lot bigger than it.
It's just that its spines are moving around. That's all.
Weird, right?
It feels cool out
It feels cool. It's almost like a very hard bristled brush.
It feels
Yeah.
like a sponge. It feels like a sponge.
It might just mean that it's trying to get back in the water. Yeah, it's ready to go back in.
Okay.
It's nothing.
No, that feels so good.
Eric, it's walking on you.
It does. It feels like a pillow.
Here, let me.
A spiky pillow.
Switch out to a different one just because it's.
Let's get one of the little red guys.
We're gonna take this one.
Hi.
Color? Is that why you don't?
No, it was like putting out these little.
It was
It was starting to drool.
It was drooling, yeah.
Which is just like one of its indicate. It can indicate a couple of different things. But
Yeah, it was drooling on me, so I'm like, oh.
I saw it.
Yeah, it was sticking at the bottom, so it's like
It was like a little.
yeah. It's like
Yeah, a little like
that one's bigger though. That one looks a little.
Around the table.
Oh, can you please on the table? You don't have to touch it.
Is that one bigger than the other one though? Is it the same
The
size?
same size.
It's just the color.
I like these fish.
Oh, it's leaking. How do you know it's leaking?
Well,
You feel it leaking. Yeah, it's just drooling.
out. Well, we just pulled it out of the water, so.
Yeah. What happened?
All right, so.
Dark brown?
No.
Yeah, we'll talk about that in a minute. So this is a weird animal. Any guesses on what this animal is?
That looks like a horseshoe crab.
Not a sea slug. That's a good guess.
A cucumber.
Yes.
Cucumber.
Very good. Brilliant. So this is a sea cucumber. Now the sea cucumber, believe it or not, is the cousin of some other very cool animals. If you look at the sea cucumber, you can see that it has bumps or almost like miniature spines all over its body. If you were to see its mouth opening and closing, which it's not doing right now, you could see that it has 5 white teeth. What animal do you think this is a cousin of? Exactly. So the sea cucumber, believe it or not, is another echinoderm. It's a cousin of the sea urchin and of the sea star. It is an animal, indeed. So a couple of things about it. So just like the sea urchin, it has these little spines all over its body. They're nowhere near as spiny. It's more like just soft bumps. It's really not spines, but it's the equivalent of spines. They have tube feet, just like the sea urchin. They have little suction cup tube feet all along the bottom that come out when they're in the water to help them move around. And just like the sea urchin and the sea star, they're what we call radially symmetrical. So if you look at them from the end, they look the same in every direction, pretty much. That's another indicator. What makes them move around?
Yeah.
Well, there's a couple of things. They have their tube feet on the bottom that can help them to walk. And then they have what we call a hydromuscular system, right? So they don't have muscles at all like we do. They don't have a skeleton. Sea urchins have kind of like a shell. That's what holds their form. These animals have a hydromuscular system. So what they do is they fill, when they're in the water, they fill their body with water to be able to match the water pressure around them. And sometimes what will happen, this one I'm surprised hasn't done it yet. Usually when I pull them out of the water, it'll let go of some water. It looks like it's peeing. It's really just kind of like adjusting to the pressure around it. When we pull it out, it doesn't have that water pressure around it, so it's releasing water. But I think they also use that hydromuscular system to move as well, to like kind of release water and gather water and move forward that way. So this animal, if you want to hold it, you can. This animal will do absolutely nothing.
He's just chilling.
It's just chilling. The only thing it might do is change shape and get a little more droopy as it like adjusts to the pressure around it. So you're welcome to hold it. You're welcome to touch it. Again, it's a living animal. It doesn't really feel slimy, but again, if you think you're going to be grossed out by it, as some people are, even though I don't think it's gross, if you think you're going to drop it, I'd rather you not hold it. There is an old wives' tale that I really like to tell people about. I don't know if it's true. They say that if you kiss a sea cucumber, you get 7 years of good luck. So,
I heard about that.
you can choose to believe it or not.
I'm a
Up to you.
I believe in good luck.
Hey, little buddy.
Yeah,
Is this crab cleaning the
it's not cleaning it.
it's trying to eat it?
They like to eat the tube.
He's
feet from the
wiggling.
sea
I feel
urchins.
him moving a little bit.
This is a spider crab. I'll pull it out.
No.
It's a spider crab.
It's
and they
moving. It's
lightly
moving. It's
been
moving. I feel it moving.
Yeah, the spider crabs are. They do that. So they do that. Yeah. For instance, our hermit crabs over here are mostly vegetarian. They don't. Oh, no, they're not mostly vegetarian. They're not going to do that.
Mindy, you could actually feel it moving. It's like.
Did anybody kiss it? I missed it.
No, I was like, oh.
Here we go. All right.
Yeah, here's good luck.
Great.
He's like.
You're not gonna kiss it?
She's like, oh.
Good luck, someone kiss it.
She did it.
You just feel it. It's like moving.
I broke the mirror.
Okay, you need to balance it out. You need to balance it out. There you go.
So now it's 7 years backlog. So now I kiss it.
Yeah, so you're even.
I broke the mirror, so that's 7 years backlog. I kiss it, I get the 7 years back.
Yeah, it's wiggling. You see it?
Come on, kiss him for good luck. 6 seconds.
Oh, whatever. No.
Then he's like, oh.
You gonna have a dream about
Some very lucky people in this crowd. You're gonna hold it.
from head to
Sounds like.
Got it.
Hold it over the
Over the
water.
water, so you don't drop it.
This is the
If you're nervous, you want me to help you hold it?
It's gonna be okay.
Don't let it go. Come on.
Grab it.
It just. Samantha. Samantha.
Okay, ready?
She got over her fear.
Yay! You got the beach.
Come on, Sam.
So it's like,
I'll do it.
Eric's like, I'm doing it for
You
sure.
got strong strength.
All right. Hold it. I know. It's I know.
A little piece.
Here we go. Oh, very good.
I'm so special.
It's puckering its lips. Yeah.
So, that was very sweet. Two really weird things about the sea cucumber that are fun to tell people about. One thing is that they have a defense technique that is very weird, that they only use in very extreme situations, like when they're really think they're going to be eaten or killed, you know? What they can do in very extreme situations is they actually eject all of their intestines and organs out of their body, and what that does is their intention is that their predator that's trying to get them, instead of eating their body, is going to go after their intestines that they ejected into the water, and then they have the ability to regrow all of their internal organs.
I heard of that.
Yes.
Really weird. It's very hard on their body. It's not an easy thing, so it's only in extreme situations.
That's really awesome.
Don't they
But
need
it's
their
pretty
body?
cool. They need their organs, but they can regrow them.
I heard of that though.
Bye, little guy.
And then the other very weird thing about
Oh, it's moving.
He wants more. I want to get it.
okay, sorry. The other really weird thing about sea cucumbers is that there's a fish. There's a tiny little fish called the pearl fish. It'll turn over. We might get to see it turn over. There's a tiny little fish called the pearlfish that we almost never get to see, and the reason we almost never get to see it is because it lives inside the sea cucumber. It's a tiny fish that spends its entire life inside the sea cucumber. It eats basically undigested debris and food and stuff from inside the sea cucumber. It is real weird.
That's so weird. From the sea
weird.
urchins and the sea cucumber, how do they reproduce?
How do they reproduce? That's a good question. I know for sure with the sea urchins and probably with the sea cucumbers as well. They essentially, there are females and there are males.
I think
and
it's
they
moving.
Essentially, like just release their reproductive material into the water. And they'll do it, they'll be like kind of in a group, right? So they'll release their reproductive material into the water, their eggs, the male will release his reproductive material into the water, and it just kind of mixes together.
Hey guys, it's turning
It's kind of
over.
interesting, definitely.
So they don't lay eggs instead of
Turning over, oh my goodness.
Yeah, they do not give birth.
Don't they grow their organs too?
They regrow their organs. So this is so echinoderms. The sea cucumbers can regrow their organs. The sea urchins can regrow their spines if they break. And then what do we know about sea stars? Who can tell me something they know about sea
Their legs.
stars? Similarly, if one of their arms gets cut off, they can regrow their arms. So they all share that kind of regenerative ability. It's not easy for the sea stars or the sea cucumbers. It's hard, but they can do it. So it's pretty cool for that reason.
He's turning over.
We do have a little, we'll talk about the crabs, but I just want to show you all under here. I happen to know it's hiding there. I can't pull it out. I can't pull it out, but this is a type of sea star. It's called a brittle star.
Ooh, it moved.
has
I heard of that one.
skinny legs or arms. It has tiny little spines on its arms. So you can see it's an echinoderm because it has those little tiny spines on its arms. If I was able to pull it out, which I can't do, this is, again, it's called a brittle star. Anybody know what brittle means? Fragile or breakable. If I tried to pull it out, its arm would just break off. Again, it can grow it back, but it's really hard on it, so I don't want to do that. If I was able to pull it out, I could turn it upside down and we'd see that it has, just like the sea urchin, it has that same mouth right in the middle on the bottom, just like the sea urchin. It has suction cup tube feet that it uses to help it walk around. They're very, very similar.
It sticks to the surface.
He's getting ready
Exactly.
to flip over.
Yeah, he's like, oh,
That worm.
he's
These
flipping
things right
over.
here,
Yeah, that black thing.
those are the arms from the brittle star. Yeah, it's the sea star, so it's like hiding in the rocks. That's what the brittle stars do. So it's always, if we can ever find a brittle star that's out and about, we're lucky because we don't usually get to. Okay, so we have a bunch of crabs we can talk about today. We have a bunch of different types of crabs.
Shell too for that one.
Well, I've never heard that one. So, who can tell me, are crabs vertebrates or invertebrates?
Invertebrates.
They're invertebrates. They're part of a phylum of animals called arthropods. That means jointed-legged animals. So all of our insects are arthropods, all of our spiders, and all of our crustaceans. The crustaceans are the arthropods that live in the water, right?
That's so nice.
Crabs, lobsters, shrimps. These hermit crabs, despite the fact that this species can get really big, of hermit crabs, I've seen hermit crabs right here out in our water that are like this big. They're very gentle. They're not very aggressive, this particular species.
Oh, that's good. We won't get pinched
Let
then.
me reach over here. I'll pull this one out. It might be a little more.
No, there's
We didn't know what they eat.
Hi, little guy.
Oh, that's a nice one.
That's a nice one.
There we go. So they'll come out a little bit.
Well, that is cool.
Here we go.
Oh, hi. Oh, whoa.
He's shy.
He's like, hello?
Yeah, they're
What are
shy,
you doing
right?
to me?
They're scared of us. They are.
Hi, little guy.
So,
Oh, wow.
See, he coming out.
he's trying. He's not actually coming out. What do you think he's probably doing?
Trying to come out.
Get out.
Is he brittle? She brittle?
Is he brittle, like breakable? Oh.
He wants to see what's going on.
He's trying to figure out exactly. That's what I think. He's like, where am I? I'm really confused. I'm not in the water. How do I get back? And then he's like, wait, what are all these things looking at me? And he pulls himself back in. So hermit crabs.
He's scared. He's scared.
They're probably scared, yeah. So one cool thing about this crab in particular.
Guys, let Brian listen.
One cool thing about this crab in particular is that when I came in here this morning just to like check on these animals, I saw this. Now, what does this look like to you?
Like the arm.
Is that their poop?
It looks like somebody passed away. It's part of a crab, right? It's a crab claw from the same type of crab. It looks like somebody passed away, but what it actually is it's a molt. So crabs have an exoskeleton. They don't have a skeleton. They have an exoskeleton like a shell. When it gets too tight on them, they actually shed or molt their exoskeleton, and underneath they have a whole new shell ready to go. So when you see kind of a complete looking skin like this, it's actually a molt, and they don't smell bad or anything. It's not like a dead animal.
So
It's just
like
a skin like a snake, very similar to a snake.
When they outgrow the shell, do they come out and try to find another? A larger
When they
shell?
outgrow this shell. So hermit crabs are different from other crabs because they only have this exoskeleton on the front part of their body. The back part of their body is unprotected, it's soft. And that's why they use these shells. They live inside of other shells for extra protection because they're softer than our other crabs. They have a long muscular body that wraps around and holds on really tight inside the shell. And then of course when they get too big for this shell, that's when they leave their shell. It's the only time they leave their shell usually. Every now and again you'll see a naked hermit crab running around. It's kind of weird. And they'll look for a little while. They're very vulnerable to the outside world when they don't have the shell.
That's a cute-
They'll look for a bigger shell to move into.
So when they move out of the shell, is that when they molt out of their own skin? Just go out of the shell?
That's a good question. Do they molt at the same time as changing this shell? I don't think so necessarily, but I'm not sure about that. That's a really good question. I couldn't answer it for sure for you. And actually, I'll tell you that this hermit crab, I believe this is the one, that we actually found this one about a month ago in the water, and it was actually what I call a naked hermit crab without a shell on. It wasn't just without a shell on, it was actually inside. It was a naked hermit crab inside an old beer bottle, and we found it in the ocean. And so what we think is that it had gone into the beer bottle either thinking that it was a shell that it could live in, or trying to get some food or something like that. It went in and then it couldn't get back out. It was really crazy. It was really crazy to
So you
see.
rescued
But we
them.
did. We
So
brought it in
y'all
here and we
rescued.
broke open the bottle and we found a shell that we thought would fit it, and sure enough, we got to watch it crawl right into the shell.
Well, that's cool.
Very, very cool.
That's a team then.
It's really, really cool.
It's like, let me go,
Well, y'all a
please.
team then.
Yeah, it's very cool.
He's like, thank you.
Yeah.
But they, I know they're not, I know they're not harmless, but if they feel threatened with the class that they have,
Hey, we looking at some crabs.
Sure, yeah, and it did. One of them did just pinch me, but these ones aren't. They're pretty calm and chill, and it doesn't hurt me. So really quickly before we move. Before we move into the other room, I'll quickly show you these other crabs. Here, let me reach over here really quickly. So, some of you all noticed this guy.
Oh,
Why was he trying to eat the?
whoa, he's pretty feisty.
This is a spider crab. Why do we call it a spider crab?
Because it has like a
It's
spider.
like a spider. So how many legs do crabs have?
8.
Eight. They have 8 legs like a spider, right? And 2 claws.
He's pretty feisty
So
today.
yeah, this is the spider crab you all got to see. They do
Orange.
love to eat those little tube feet from the sea urchins. It's one of their little tasty
Do the sea
treats.
urchins feel threatened when they do that?
I'm sure they do when they're here in this touch tank, unfortunately. If they're out in the ocean, there's enough
heard
space
about
for them to
them.
get away, but I do feel bad, like,
Yeah, I feel bad for them.
I do feel bad. A couple things about crabs. The way you can tell if a crab is a male or a female, if you look on the belly, if there's a wide flat triangle, kind of like this one,
Yeah.
it's a female. That's her egg flap, where she'll hold her eggs when she's ready to have babies. It has a long skinny triangle, it's a male. A couple of things about the spider crabs that are cool. This spider crab can grow and grow and grow and grow. They found spider crabs that are like this big, like the size of a trash can.
No, don't they get like bigger than that?
They can get really big.
Yeah, you said it's an arthropod?
An arthropod,
I heard
that means
about
jointed
that.
legged animals. So shrimp, crab, lobsters, things like that, insects, etc.
The little guy just ran away, did he?
And then we have
The other kind.
Sometimes they get born or something.
Ooh.
I knew it was there. I found it earlier, so I could
I
find it.
see it.
So this is a very cool kind of crab. This crab is called a box crab. Our nickname for it is the shame-faced crab. It looks like they're kind of hiding their face in shame. And what's really cool about it is
Oh, I see his pincers.
gigantic claws, and I'm gonna show you all what it's gonna do with its gigantic
That one is
claws.
not feisty. That one's calm.
Yeah, it's probably a little scared. So take a look at it if you can see it. It's a little hard to see, but we're gonna watch what it can do with its gigantic claws.
He gonna move.
It works like a snow plow. It's plowing
God.
and
Oh my
out of the way.
Oh,
Totally disappearing.
oh God, yeah. Wow.
That is awesome.
Oh, it's gone.
That's
Very,
cool.
very cool.
Now it's gone.
Drink some of me a soda, man.
Yeah, it
I
could
heard
shovel
that.
food into its mouth and can grab its food like that for sure. And so you'll see it. At this point, we can't see it at all. So
He's
it's a
gone.
super good.
Fight.
He just had
If
his
an animal,
face.
let's say like a hammer tries to try to eat the crab, it'll just keep digging
It can
itself.
hide like that super easily. Yeah. So
Hey, the
really
sea
quickly,
urchin's
I wanna,
curling up.
Move on so the other group can check out the touch tank, but I want to show you all some of these mollusks first. Very good. I was going to ask you what it was, but you already know. This is a type of conch. So specifically,
that one.
this conch is called a vase conch. The conch, has anybody here eaten conch before?
Oh, I heard about that.
Okay.
I ate that
The type, this
before.
is not the type of conch we eat. The type of conch we eat is called queen conch. Queen conchs here in Florida are actually critically endangered. Unfortunately, if you've eaten them, they didn't come from Florida. They probably came from the Bahamas, where they're not endangered yet.
I heard about
Yeah, it's
But yeah, there's a lot there. So, but this one's not endangered. So the endangered ones, the queen conch, we're not allowed to bring in here. Luckily, we can bring this one in so we can take a look at it. So a conch is a type of animal called a mollusk, a soft-bodied
is he
animal
say?
with a
Is
hard
he?
shell.
Oh, he's moving.
And
Woo!
specifically, it's a gastropod. That means basically a stomach foot animal. It's a long, muscular stomach wrapped up inside of its shell with a hard foot-like part at the end. These ones are cool because you can see their eyes. They have two eyes at the ends of long eye stalks.
You're taking it.
And they have a long black mouth. The black thing in the middle is its mouth.
What's their
Okay.
Their defense system, well, one of their main defense systems is this hard shell, right? Like they like to be face down in the sand so that anything trying to get it is going to hit this shell. They have this knife-like part right here. What do you think they use that knife-like part
Ooh,
for?
stab.
Brian, they can use it to get food.
Y'all
They
keep
can
Sorry, I'm sorry.
because we're trying to get a picture. They can use it to actually dig it into the sand and flip it over. Now, quick
Sorry,
question.
Brian.
We said that the hermit crabs, of course, they leave their shell and they find a new shell when they need a bigger one. Do you think these animals make their shell or find their shell?
They find this shit.
So believe it or not, they actually make their own shell. They start out as a tiny little animal with a tiny little shell, and as they grow bigger, they grow their shell around them. So they're actually connected to the shell. The shell is part of their body. Yeah, sure. The leatherback to all the sea turtles are attached to the shell and part of their body. That's a great segue because we're about to head to the other room to learn about turtles.
Turtles.
Very quickly, if you all want to, I'm not going to pass this guy around, but we could, if you want to touch one of these shells or hold them, you're welcome to. This is a different type of conch. It's called a milk conch.
Milk conch.
It's very docile. They don't come out of their shell like those ones do. It's called a milk conch because of this milky white part on its shell. If you want to hold it, you can just hold its shell. Please don't poke its body or its foot. I just don't,
Hi, little guy.
Not really. It doesn't really move. So that's why I like to pass these ones around. Because they're not
You know
going to
what
freak
I
anybody out.
There you go.
Looks like a big soup.
No,
So
you
in
know what I
Turks and
heard
Caicos,
about
there is
this
this conch farm. I guess it's the only one in the world.
They say you
Yeah,
can hear
and I
something
didn't actually end up going to it. I wanted to go to it.
from
That's
the
very
other
interesting.
side of the conch.
They just grow, and like that's what they were saying to natives, because they take them, we saw them conching, like before the bus, they would crack a hole in the shell, and they were like, do you want to conch one? And I was like, I just started eating them, I'm not trying to kill them.
I'll take it. Yeah, I mean, they're endangered for two reasons. For over-harvesting because of meat, but also because the shells are beautiful. Like, a lot of times people who don't know just take them for the shells. What?
Ocean in general, it's one of my main
Right away.
Oh, cool. Well, that's perfect that you're here.
I like how the sea urchin is like in a sea.
The sea cucumber? Yeah.
Yeah, because
So that you know it's a
he's like, yeah. I got the joke.
Cucumber. That is so cool.
He's making a sea for us, so he's like, yeah.
That's the aerator, so there's actually some oxygen coming out of there. So my guess is he's trying to get a little extra.
I just saw him.
Yeah. It's funny though. I actually haven't really seen them doing that here too much, but we'll see the animals doing that sometimes. Okay, and as soon as we put this guy back, we'll head into the other room so we can give the other group some space in there. You want me to help you?
Brian, you're posting a good video?
Look at this. I think the sea cucumber is spread out right now.
Yeah.
He's just like,
Chilling, right?
Spread out. And, wow. That's pretty cool.
Perfect. All right, so my group right here, we might be able to come back and